Senator Cordy.
Thank you very much, Minister, for being here with us today. My question has to do with the increasingly limited transportation options for rural Canadians. Commuter air routes, regional bus lines, even national bus companies are reducing services or stopping altogether, and rail service is limited or non-existent in rural areas. The pandemic has accelerated the shrinking of these services, but the fact is that these services were disappearing long before the pandemic. So, Minister, my question is, what are you doing to ensure rural Canadians have convenient, affordable, and reliable access to what are essential services?
Thank you, Senator. And trust me, I get this. I used to say when I came to Ottawa first, you could get 6 islands of Prince Edward Island in my riding, and then I realized that a lot of people didn't have a clue how big Prince Edward Island was. So now I say my riding is bigger than Switzerland. I have over 200 communities, and 5 of those are accessible by boat only. And of course, our island of Newfoundland is accessible by a ferry service. Since I've been minister, I've done over 70 roundtables with people from coast to coast to coast, focused on many things. One of them was on rural transit. And we had a deep discussion of how things have changed since the pandemic. Yes, you're correct. The transit was an issue in rural Canada long before the pandemic, but I think the pandemic has really ripped off the Band-Aid, because we're now seeing more and more people wanting to move to rural areas. So I have discussions regularly with my colleagues, of course, Minister Alghabra in tourism, and also Minister LeBlanc in infrastructure. We work with the provinces and territories of how we can do a rural transit plan for the country. Minister LeBlanc had a rural transit fund that he announced last year, and the applications are being reviewed now, but we have to make sure that it works for all rural Canadians, just not those closer to a large centre.